Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today in the holiday season is Bestdemiguise. How are you doing today, Best?
Hello, doing well. Excited to do this.
I love it. I love it. I love the energy. I love the cosplay. I love the backdrop. And everybody, you're watching right now. We're going to be talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love interviewing JoJo cosplayers. Like, I love interviewing all cosplayers, but it's like there's that connection, you know, when it comes to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure that just brings us all together. Like, I literally just finished working out at the gym, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because part 6 comes out soon, and it's like, I just want to be really hyped. So I'm going to call you Bestie, if that's cool with you.
That's fine. That works.
All right, awesome. And before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, is if he was here right now, follow, like, subscribe. Podcast link down in the description. Let's go ahead and get into this episode interview. So, Bestie, something that we do here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks is we always ask, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who you are.
All right. Well, my origin story. Oh, wow. Okay. So I've been cosplaying for a really long time. I've been cosplaying since maybe I was 17 or so. So we're talking about like 10 plus years in the making. All right. I started cosplaying back in the day where we did not have the access that we have right now, where it's like, oh, let me just like order contact lenses. It was like, you didn't think about that. You try to cosplay either what was closest to you, you know, in terms of like, okay, they have black hair. Okay, cool. Maybe I can get away with that. Yeah. And I grew up in Central America, and anime was actually pretty big growing up. So for me, like Sunday cartoons were Saint Seiya, Inuyasha, Rurouni Kenshin. So there wasn't really like a moment for me where I was like, oh yeah, I'm into anime. It was simply, yeah, these are the cartoons that I'm watching as I'm growing up. So of course I love them. So yeah, it's been a really long time. I just slowly started cosplaying, kind of like just going to cons with friends, you know, like low-key cosplaying with whatever you had in the closet. But it hasn't been until maybe in the last 3 years or so that I actually started posting my content, and I actually started being like, oh, let me put this online, feed it to the universe and see what happens. And now here we are. 2020 happened. I made way too many cosplays in quarantine. And now I'm just waiting for cons so I can go show them off, because a lot of them I've not worn them at cons. Like I haven't worn Anasui at a con. And I made him like early 2020.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, because of the pandemic and whatnot, it's just like I feel like all cosplayers were just stocking up on costumes, and it's weird because, you know, when you buy new clothes and it's just like, yo, I got so many outfits, I can't wait to show these outfits off. But then it's just like you order or make so many costumes, and it's just like I can only wear so many to a con. I mean, but you'll be surprised, like somebody probably like made or ordered like 20 costumes, just like, yo, I'm going to wear every single costume at this con. I'm showing off, and more power to you if you want to do that.
Commitment. Because I feel that just like one costume a day, one cosplay a day is already a lot. Yeah. But honestly, when I see cosplayers who are like, oh yeah, it's 3 o'clock, like let me go switch into my evening cosplay. I'm like,
yeah,
power to you, because that's the moment the wig comes off, the last thing I think about is like putting another wig. So, you know, like that's a whole other level.
No, I totally feel you on that. I mean, like, cause you know, I've cosplayed before, but like this was the first year that I actually cosplayed as anime characters. And like how you said, it's just like once you take that costume off, or if you're just gonna go and wear like that one costume a day, like that's the mentality that I have. But you know, not everybody has the option to have a hotel room right next to the con or whatnot. So it's just like you're gonna wear whatever you're gonna wear. But I mean, I'm pretty sure some people change in the bathroom like Spider-Man and Superman, and you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to piggyback off of something that you had said earlier, where you were talking about how, you know, back in the day, you know, it was hard, like trying to find costumes and whatnot. Like, I don't know if you've seen this meme, but there's a meme going around where it's like, you know, y'all kids, y'all got it good. It's like, y'all can go into Spirit Halloween, y'all can go to Hot Topic, and y'all can get whatever y'all want. Like back when we was growing up, the only anime stuff that we would see in stores was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z stuff. And even
if you were lucky.
Yeah, if you were lucky. And even when it came to Dragon Ball Z stuff, it was still far in between. But it's just like, yeah, man, it's so easy to get stuff now. Even the websites that we had back then, it's just like, you didn't know if hey, should I order from this site or not? I don't know. But, you know, cosplay definitely has come a long way. And, you know, all of the costumes that you have, you know, I always do my research before I bring a guest up here, and you have some amazing outfits. So I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, when you go back to the con scene and like you can show off your outfits. Cause like one of my favorite costumes, I'm going to ask you what your favorite ones are, but one of my favorites that I saw on your page was of course Dio. And it's like, as soon as I saw that Dio cosplay, I was just like, okay, I got to bring them up here. It's like, your Dio is awesome. You're welcome. Is he one of your favorite villains in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yeah, I think definitely. It's funny that you mentioned like him being the favorite, because that's actually my newest.
Oh, wow, nice.
Cosplay. So that was my Halloween / kind of like new cosplay reveal. And it's honestly, I feel like the only reason I chose finally to do Dio. I've loved Dio since I started watching JoJo, you know, except when he kicked the dog. I do not want to go on record as saying I love Dio and all of JoJo, including the dog kicking. No, I was like, I have my doubts with you. But then Stardust Crusaders, he's such an iconic villain, you know, in Stardust Crusaders. But I feel that it's only because I've gotten so much more confident in my cosplay skills that I was like, okay, finally, I can do Dio. Because if you would have told me back in the day, like, oh yeah, like start off with JoJo and Dio should be your first cosplay, I'd be like, I'm never doing this again. I am backing out, never again.
No, but yeah, it's an awesome cosplay, and it's gonna appear right up here on the screen. Usually whenever I'm talking about something, like it appears, and if it does appear, then more power to the computer that I have that y'all can't see. But yeah, to keep it on the JoJo topic, what part is your favorite part?
So honestly, I feel that in terms of like, it's hard because I feel like part 3 and part 5 are the ones that I love the most. Obviously, I watched part 3 first, and I fell in love with the characters, but it wasn't, part 5 was the one that made me start cosplaying JoJo.
Oh, wow.
So it has a special place in my heart because of that. Because I had been watching, JoJo, I had been thinking about cosplaying JoJo, but I had been like low-key intimidated, especially because like the style to begin with, you're you're looking at the patterns being like, what is this? Is it a skirt? Are they pants?
Mm-hmm. You don't know.
You don't know. And it wasn't until part 5 that I see Abakio, and I'm just like, okay, wait, he's wearing all goth, he's wearing all black, he's like a goth. I feel I can pull this off.
Yeah.
And so Abakio was the first cosplay that I decided to like do for JoJo. And he went through so many glow ups, because in the beginning it was literally a black tank top, black leggings. I ordered the wig and I started testing the makeup. It was, doing the JoJo lines is probably the most intimidating thing that you will ever do in cosplay. So in the beginning, Abakio was a hot mess, but I brought him to cons and I had so much fun. So I didn't care, I didn't care that he wasn't 100% accurate. But then slowly I was like, okay, now I'll make a more like anime accurate, manga accurate like outfit for him. And I started developing the cosplay more and more. And he became like literally my comfort cosplay. Like I love Abakio, like cosplaying Abakio so much.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's crazy that you said like part 5 was the one that, made you want to, finally do a JoJo cosplay. For me, it was part 4. Part 4 is my favorite part. Like how you were saying with part 3 being yours. I like Jotaro in part 3, but Jotaro in part 4, like he's the man. It's just, he's like Joseph in part 3, but he's better. You know what I'm saying? And how are you not the main character, and then you defeat the main character's villain? So that's why I love Jotaro in that part. And also too, like the white fit. whenever I go to cons, I always see part 3 Jotaro. I never see part 4 Jotaros. I've only seen it one time at a con. So it's just like, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing part 4. And it was just, I got so much love wearing that cosplay. Like, I didn't think that I was going to get that much love because, of course, you know, in the cosplay community, you know, when you're a person of color, you know, you usually get that tag like, oh yeah, Jotaro's this, you know, but I got a lot of love. And then especially the one picture that I have where I'm not sure if you saw it, but it was like I was standing outside and the wind was blowing, and then the jacket, it was just blowing in the wind. I was like, how perfect is this?
It was working in your direction. No, I did see it. It was such an amazing cosplay, honestly. So good. Yeah, part 4 is like, I feel like part 4 is like, it is a cosplay Rohan from part 4. Nice. So I do love it, but I feel like it's always like this, it brings you into this false sense of security. Because I remember finishing part 4 and being like, oh my God, I love Jojo. Let's jump after the devastation of part 3, right? Where you're like, I need therapy. But then it's like, and then I jumped right into part 5 thinking it's going to be great. It's going to be the same thing. You know, it's like part 4 was beautiful. And then it's like, what? Like, so
yeah,
I feel really like, yeah, I feel like part 4 is like sometimes underrated because we're not as traumatized by it.
Yeah. You know, I it's crazy because like I want to say I finished JoJo last year. You know, I think, I started it last year and then I finished it last year. And I remember like whenever I'm doing like anime reviews and stuff, it's like I'll do a quick one, and I was just like, you know, part 1 was all dark and gloomy, and then, you know, part 2, it was kind of full of energy, but it was still dark, and then you get to part 3, which is like I call the Dragon Ball Z of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because there was a lot of action and fighting going on in that. And then you get to part 4, and it's like part 4 is a lot more calm, it's condensed, it's all in a town and whatnot. But then in the first episode, where it's just like you find out the first killer, and I'm mad I can't remember his name, and you know, they said what he was doing. I was just like, dang man, maybe part 4 is going to be dark. And then when you get to Kira, and then you see the hands and all that stuff, and then like you said with part 5, I thought part 5 was just going to be, you know, car chases, them stealing stuff, and it's just like, no. Like, it got serious. So I totally agree with you on that. And I do want to talk about some more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stuff, but I want to go back to when you first got into cosplay, because you say you got into it, you were going to the cons and whatnot. What was the first costume that you wore at a con?
So I did Graphia from Bleach.
Nice. That's my oh my God. That's your favorite character, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yo, I remember when I was in high school and when he was fighting Renji and then he dropped that sword. Yo, I know.
That was it. That was the moment for me. That was the moment.
Those rose petals came. I was just like, yo, like this dude. I was like, there's no way Ichigo is gonna beat this guy.
I know. Same. But yeah, no, it was Graphia, and it was actually like I had other friends who joined me, so it was the first time we did like a group cosplay. So we all did the captains, and we had, again, back in the day when you did not have as many regulations as before. One of our friends actually had original like samurai swords, and he just like gave them to us, and he was like, yeah, go to the con, have fun. And we're actually walking around with these like legit like
real swords. Wow.
Real swords, you know. And again, I remember no wigs, no, you know, we had only done the costumes. We were literally in my living room like oh my gosh, we were just like gluing the captain numbers. Like, it was very DIY, but it was cool. Like, I still have, and it had an amazing reaction, which I think it was also like a positive thing for us to continue doing cosplay, because people were like losing their mind. Again, it was like, but people were like surrounding us, being like, oh, we need pictures. And we were like, whoa, it's like,
it's like I'm a celebrity now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, that's awesome. So, I mean, since you mentioned like how you were being surrounded and there was a positive impact on you and the world of cosplay, I want to ask you now, what has been one of your favorite moments in cosplaying?
Interesting. I think just being part of like big cosplay groups with my friends. So when we go to cons, like probably that's been one of my favorite moments. Just like we all form one, we almost have like, I remember a couple years back at a con, we had almost the entire cast of Haikyuu going on. And again, very simple in terms of like it's sport anime, you know, it's like we bought the cosplays. It was very like, but we were very excited because we were like, again, this big group. And I always feel like there's like a hype automatically from people when they see the whole group, you know, and they don't ask many questions. So it's like they see the whole, like they see multiple characters from the same cast, from the same show, right? And automatically it's like this hype of like, oh my God, I need pictures, I need videos. So probably moments like that. And then, yeah, just like bit by bit, to me, it's always been, I mainly go to cons with my friends.
Yeah.
So it's always for that. Like there's friends that I only see at cons, you know, we only see each other once a year, twice a year, because the only place we meet is at cons.
Yeah, that's always crazy. I mean, like, you know, I've been going to the cons regularly over the years and whatnot, but when it's come to cosplaying, I agree where, you know, when you go there with your friend, like it's cool to go by yourself, but when you go there with your friends, and especially if you're cosplaying like the same characters, I want to say it was the third con I went to. We went as the Grove Street family, and I was just like, man, nobody's gonna know who we are. And then people were just like, they was, you know, throwing up the Grove. I'm not gonna throw up any gang signs because I don't want YouTube to flag me. But you know, we were throwing up the Grove Street family signs. I was walking around playing the San Andreas music, and you know, people were taking pictures with me and whatnot, and taking pictures of us, but I didn't have like that experience like you until like I cosplayed as Deku and I cosplayed as Jotaro. And I remember I was cosplaying as Deku and I had saw Todoroki and I had saw a Bakugo. And I was telling my co-host from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, D, I was just like, hey, take a picture of the three of us. And so we're sitting there posing, and then like all of a sudden, like a group of people just swarm. I was just like, yo, like this is what it feels like. I mean, and you know, I'm a professional wrestler, so I'm already used to people taking pictures with me, but just being in the world of cosplay and like just being surrounded, like it's an awesome feeling. It's a different feeling. Like it makes you feel good. It makes you feel that it's just like, yo, like I'm rocking this cosplay. Now I want to ask you this because this is something that I was doing when I was Jotaro and when I was Deku, especially when I was Deku. You know, whenever I would see a My Hero Academia cosplayer, I was in character. You know, I was Deku. When I saw Bakugo, I was like, Kachan, like I've been looking for you. And luckily Kachan, he was being mean to me. So I want to ask you, when you're cosplaying these characters, do you get into character? Do you act the roles out like if you were these characters, or are you just at the con and you're just walking around chilling and vibing?
A mix. I feel like when I'm just walking around the con, yes, I'm just like chilling. I'm just like, you know, looking around. When I go to the meetups and when we do like the cosplay meetups at cons, I feel there is a little bit like automatically there is a little bit of like role play. You know, you get in character, especially when you see counterparts, right? Like my friends were joking, like for the because I'm going to a con this weekend, and my friends were already joking, being like, "Oh my gosh, every time we see a Jolene, we're gonna have to like shout for you to run to them." And I was like, "Yeah, please do," because like that, you know, like the hype like that for sure. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's just a cool feel. I know when I was Jotaro and there were other Jotaros at the con, we recreated the Spider-Man thing where like, they're pointing at each other, and like it was just so fun. It's cool when you just go to these cons and it's like you have other like-minded people and like everybody just wants to have a good time and you know, just celebrate with one another. You know, luckily I haven't been to any cons where I've experienced anything bad or had anything negative said about me or anything. Do you have any stories where like somebody said something about you and you was just like, you know what, screw what this person is saying, I'm doing me, I'm trying to have a good time?
Yeah, I think again with the, you know, I feel like Jojo is a double-edged sword where like, well, I feel like cosplaying in general, and I feel like sometimes even cosplaying as a girl is sometimes, especially like I don't particularly cosplay a lot of female characters, like most of the characters, and I feel that sometimes like I've had moments in cons where like people try to test how much I know of a character.
God. Maybe gatekeeping.
Yeah, you know, like especially it happened a lot with like part 5. I remember like when I cosplayed Bakio, there were a lot of comments, mainly from other guys, just being like, "Oh, like have you even seen other parts of Jojo? You know, or is it just because he's good looking? Like you're probably cosplaying him because he's good looking." And I'm like, that would be fine too if that were the only reason why I did it. And I also really like Jojo and I mean, again, I'm not gonna like prove it. You don't have to like get into like a debate with any of these people. Most of the time, I'm just like walk away, find my group, you know, carry on.
Who's that cosplayer?
Skies in my eyes, cause.
Don't give them the time of day because it's kind of, you know, it's like we're not. What's the point? What's the point of gatekeeping? What are you gonna win out of this?
Yeah, like that's, you know, and I feel like that's a thing that a lot of girls go through at cons, because I mean, like, even, you know, I see this all the time in Facebook groups and on social media, where it's just like, it's always dudes that are gatekeeping or are asking like a bunch of questions and stuff just to see if, you know what the anime is and whatnot. And it's just like, man, it's 2021. You know, most people who watch anime now, they grew up watching anime, and even if they didn't grow up watching anime and they recently just got into it, it's just like, why gatekeep instead of saying, well, hey, let me tell you about some of these other animes that you should check out and whatnot. Because like, that's what I've been doing on TikTok a lot lately, is showing like older animes, because it's like, especially older animes that nobody knows about. And then people are just like, oh snap, like I'm going to check this out. And that's how it should be. So, you know, you gatekeepers, you suck. And that's all I'm going to say. And you're on Santa Bank's naughty list, and I'm going to slam you through a table, because that's what I do. So I want to bring up one more cosplay thing, and then we can start talking about JoJo and other stuff. I saw your Hades cosplay, and this is the thing, like, Hercules is in my top 5 Disney movies. And I got to ask you, what are your top 5 Disney movies? Not 3D animated, but just hand-drawn cartoons from Disney. Top 5.
Well, Hades, number 1.
No, like not Hades. You mean Hercules?
Oh, sorry, Hercules. Sorry.
I was about to say Hades.
Hades, you know, the movie, it's probably going to come out at some point, because they're doing Cruella, they're doing Hades. I just gave classified information. I actually
no. I would watch it. I would watch a Hades movie though.
I would watch it too. No, that'd be cool. Hercules, definitely one of my favorite ones. Then, oh my gosh, Beauty and the Beast, because it's a classic. I'm thinking out on other ones. Oh, the Sword and the Stone.
You going back with some classics. Okay.
I love, like, I cannot explain the Sword of, like, there's just something. There's just like, there's scenes that stay with me always from the Sword and the Stone. I don't know why. And then let's see, Atlantis.
Still haven't seen that movie. Don't kill me. I know. I know.
4. That was 4.
Yeah, that's 4. You got one more.
And then I have to say, I have to say Coco, because Ooh. Like, not perfect in the sense of, like, I know the debate of, like, how, like, Day of the Dead has been represented, and like Disney always trying to do that thing of just like kind of like tossing multiple cultures into one thing, right? Like, I get it, but it's baby steps, I think. And it was one of those moments, like, I remember like I remember when the song "Remember Me" was played, and I went to see it in Spanish because I was back home when it happened. And like my entire row, everybody sobbing.
Oh.
Like, because it was like everybody, we all understood it, we all got that moment when the song started. And it was that's why like Coco stays with me, because it was like that moment when you're like crying with strangers in the cinema. It's like,
yeah. Now you know what? Now I did say 5 hand drawn, but I'll let Coco slide because
I know.
I just watched it for the first time this year. Like, my co-host Trav and D, they get on me all the time because I'm just like Steve Rogers. I got a long list of movies that I have to watch, and I watched Coco this year. And after I watched it, I was just like, yo, like, why did I put this movie off for so long? Because when they got to the end of the movie, spoiler alerts, the movie is old now. I don't care if you get mad, but when they get to that end of the movie scene and he's singing to his grandmother, "Remember Me," I was just like, I was crying. I was just like, man, like, this movie is sad. And when he found out that the dude was his grandfather, I was just like, oh my God, like, this movie was awesome. So go watch Coco because it is a really good Disney movie. And to piggyback off of what you were saying, like with Disney, slowly rolling out, because I love how well, it's not just Disney, but Pixar. Pixar, I feel like they're doing a good job at showing representation with other races and whatnot. Like Coco was one, and Soul, which came out last year. I really love that movie, and
I really liked it.
I feel like with Pixar movies, it's just like they always get you in the feelings, because I love the message of Soul, where it was just like, you need to take control of your life and you need to do something with it, because if not, then everything is just going to pass you by. And then like with Coco, just wanting to be remembered, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just love the message in that movie. Now I know that Disney has a new movie that just came out called Encanto, and I haven't seen it. You've seen it?
No, I have not seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? I haven't seen it either, but my friend, she's Puerto Rican, and she was telling me about the movie, and she loves it because, just like how you were saying, like the representation and like seeing somebody on screen that looks like you know what I'm saying, like that stuff, it goes a long way. And I'm just happy that we live in a time now where it's like we can see more representation when it comes to Disney stuff, superhero stuff. Like, Falcon and Winter Soldier just came out. Falcon and Winter Soldier, and seeing, Sam become Captain America. Like, that's awesome. Like that's my favorite Disney MCU show on Disney Plus. And it was good from beginning to end. So now that we talked about all the cosplay stuff, we talked about the Disney stuff, now let's get into JoJo Part 6, Stone Ocean, which is coming out soon.
Oh my God.
And I love that you're cosplaying as one of the characters from Stone Ocean. I'm reading the manga right now, and I'm like halfway through it. Like, have you read the manga, or are you just an anime only? Oh, so are you?
No, so Part 6 is the first JoJo part that I have read before watching.
Wow. See, and that's similar with me too. Like, I've never read any of the other manga, but I wanted to read Part 6, and then when Part 6 got announced, I'm just like, dang, like I'm running out of time. So like I said, I'm halfway through it right now, and I know that they're doing Part 1 for Stone Ocean, and then they're going to be doing Part 2. So hopefully I'll be done by the time Part 2 comes out. But what are some of your expectations for what you're looking for in the Part 6 anime?
Oh my gosh. I feel like so far I'm very excited. I have very high hopes just with the opening. When the opening came out, and just them bringing 3D openings back, come on, like that to me alone, chills. It was actually literal chills, where I was like, this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good anime. So I have, like, honestly, I'm excited to see these characters animated. I'm excited to see there's so many fights in Stone Ocean. Like, again, because I haven't read the other parts, I just feel that obviously when you're reading it versus when you're watching it, it just feels like these fights are eternal, right? It's just like they're never ending. So I'm really curious to see how they're gonna pack all these fights into the show. Because I know we're only getting 12 episodes at first. So I'm really curious to see, because I feel like that would not cover too much.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, because I know Part 4 and Part 5, they had a total of like 30 something episodes. And I know Part 3 had about like 40 something, just because of how long it was. But then you look at Part 1 and Part 2, they were able to combine those into 12 episodes each. So I feel like with Stone Ocean, and because it's not on TV and it's actually on Netflix, with a lot of Netflix shows, it's just like sometimes like they'll give you that runtime where it's not just 30 minutes, like it might be like 35 minutes or something like that. So I do think that they'll be able to fill everything within these 12 episodes, and I hope that we get another 12 episodes. But I don't know if you watched the He-Man show on Netflix. It's like Part 1 was 6 episodes, and then Part 2 just came out. And we are doing a review for Part 2, so make sure you check that out. But Part 2 only had 5 episodes. So, so who knows like how many episodes we're going to be getting? I mean, like maybe they might be able to fill in a lot in these 12 episodes. And then when Part 2 comes out, we only get a handful of episodes. Who knows? But yeah, I
really hope we get at least the same amount as Part 3, honestly, because I love this part so much, and I don't obviously not going to spoil anything, but I really don't want it to end. I really do not want it to end.
No, but yeah, I agree with you. Like when it was announced, I was hyped. I just recently watched the opening, and I was hyped for that. And it was confirmed that Kira Buckland is going to be voicing Jolene in the English dub. And I was hyped about that because we interviewed Kira, and you can check out that interview. The video is here on our YouTube channel. And one of the questions that I had asked her was, if you could be in part 6, like, who would you like to voice? And she was just like, I would love to voice Jolene. And, of course, she was in part 4. She voiced Remy in part 4. So, for her to get that role, like, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the Japanese voice actress that's voicing Jolene. She got into voice acting just so that she could voice Jolene one day. So, pinky's up to you, Kira. You deserve it. And it's like, she cosplays as Jolene all the time. So it's just awesome to, want to do something and then you finally get to do it, So I'm looking forward to part 6. I'm looking forward to seeing like some of the fights being animated. I do know, because I did read a little bit of Phantom Blood, and in Phantom Blood, there's a part where George Joestar, he's talking to Dio about Danny and Jonathan's relationship, and how Danny originally, he was a bad dog. Him and Jonathan used to fight all the time, and then Jonathan was drowning in the water and Danny saved his life, or I think Danny was drowning and Jonathan saved his life. It's one of those, and like that's how they became friends. And I was just like, man, like that would have been really cool if they would have left that into the anime. But I feel like some stuff isn't needed. So I am wondering what stuff from the manga is going to be cut. And again, too, if it's only 12 episodes, imagine how much stuff that they might cut because they feel like, this was cool in the manga, but it didn't need to be added in the anime.
Yeah, I think that's would have been one key point of debate that I've seen a lot, especially with Anasui, because if you've read the manga, you see that in the beginning, he appears as a woman. Yeah. We don't see him talk, we don't see him do anything, but so I've seen so many people being like, do you think they're gonna leave that in the anime? Do you think they're just going to or they're just going to for the sake of narrative and continuity, are they just going to pretend that never happened? Which again, because it's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I feel like it would work.
Yeah, of course.
They did it.
Yeah, it needs to happen. And also too, because the first time I had saw him was when I played JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes Over Heaven. I said it right?
Eyes Over Heaven. I can't remember.
It's Eyes of Heaven. I can't remember. And let me know in the comments if I butcher it, but don't kill me. But the first time I had saw him, I thought it was Diavolo, and I was just like, because they look so similar, but that's just JoJo. I mean, because you look at Caesar in part 2 and they say that Caesar is good Dio, and there's characters that look alike and all this other stuff. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to watching part 6. I can't wait to watch it and then do a review for it. So moving along, I want to ask you, when you're not cosplaying, what are some of your hobbies that you're into?
Oh wow, okay. I'm a writer.
Nice.
Yeah, so I do that on the side. I do kind of freelance writing. I've had a couple of published works as well. That's pretty exciting. So I do that a lot in my free time. I just kind of, I like writing short stories. That's one of the key things. And then I feel like as a default, as a consequence of cosplay, I've also gotten really into just sewing, and not necessarily always just sewing for cosplay, just just sewing for the sake of seeing what I can do, what I can create. But I like playing video games. I do that sometimes in my spare time as well. And then just being a grown-up. I know it's I'm like hobbies, and then I'm like, okay, I go to work and I come back from work.
No, yeah, that's awesome. And, we'll be sure to include the link so that way everybody can check out some of your stories. I think that's awesome that you're a writer. We've interviewed authors before on our channel, and we do have videos up here that you guys can go and look at. But I think that's awesome. I've always wanted to, write a story and whatnot, because I got a lot going on up here, and you'll be surprised. It's grab a pencil and, you know, go to paper or type on a computer. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, I'm thinking the old mentality or a typewriter or something, but, you know, it's so easy to, you know, just hop on your phone and just type up a story and just go from there. So I really think that that's awesome. Are there any other animes that you watch besides JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Well, at the moment, I've been watching Demon Slayer, so I'm excited for. Well, season 2 already started, but I'm excited for it to continue into the
Red real District. Season 2.
The real season. Although I have been enjoying it. You know, at the beginning, I was a non-believer of the fact that they were redoing the train arc, and I was like, "Why? Well, it's such a waste of time." But now it's like it's pulling at my heartstrings because you know everything already, but it's like. They're feeding you more character development and they're making you feel more attached to the characters. So I appreciate it now. But I'm excited for the Red District arc. What else have I been watching? Well, I have Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm very looking forward to the movie in December. So excited for that. And then I mainly read My Hero Academia. I don't really watch it. So that's been exciting too because it's wrapping up. So
it's not too often that I get somebody up here that is reading My Hero Academia. So everybody that's watching right now, if you're not reading the manga, you might want to skip ahead a little bit. But we're about to talk about some spoilers, you know, if that's cool with you, Bestie. So have you read the latest chapter?
The Traitor.
Oh my God.
Finally wrapping up that. Honestly, I thought the mangaka had forgotten about that plot. Like I always thought that it was like kind of like mentioned and we were just never gonna get like a resolution. So when it did, I was like, I don't know how you feel. I feel it was a little bit of a cop out.
Ooh, you know, some people have been saying that. I mean, it's like honestly, I wanted it to be Coda, so then that way, because I don't like Coda, and I wanted Deku to just smash his face in, but. You know, I'm fine with it being Hagakure. And I mean, it makes the most sense because it's just like all she has to do is just take off her gloves and her shoes and like nobody would ever know. And what's interesting is like one of my friends, he was just like, yeah, if you go back to it was after they did like the course where they go to the mall and it's like I saw she was the one that suggested that they go to the mall and then Shigaraki was there and he rode up. So I mean it's interesting to just go back and see like where was she at, because it's just like there's so many times like she could have easily been in the room. Like I was telling my boy, she could have been in the room when Night Eye was doing the stuff with Overhaul, like getting all that information. So it's just interesting, but I can't wait.
It works because I feel like I hope we get a little bit more development on that. I hope we get a little bit more like on her side.
Yeah.
Get to see more of what, you know, and it's not just this, like she did it and we'll never really understand her motivation for it. Like, I hope to see that. I hope to see that character development because I feel like if done correctly, then this is a cool opportunity for her to have character development.
Yeah, she doesn't have any.
She doesn't have any, which I guess works if you want her to be the traitor because again, she's like, it's true, this mystery. We never really thought about where she was when all these things were happening, right? But yeah, I'm kind of glad, but at the same time, I almost wish it would have been someone that we had like almost been trusting this entire time, you know?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, because it's like with her, like she was just always in the background. So again, like I said, it makes sense. But I know a lot of fans, they were hoping that it was Kaminari because like that could have made sense. But I'm trying to think, when you think of people who really didn't get like a lot of character development, and it's just like you just think, I mean, like it could have been Sero, it could have been Sato, it could have been anybody, you know. But I like that it is Hagakure. I like that it's her. I can't wait to see what development that we see. I have a feeling that it's going to be one of those situations where she's going to be like, I was working for One for All, but you know, I became friends with you guys. I never thought that I was going to be friends with you guys. It's the same thing like with Lady Nagant when her and Midoriya fought each other. And it's like you found out that she was a hero that was undercover, and that Hawks is, you know, he took over after she got caught. So, you know, it's not like she wanted to do what she did, but she was just undercover. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen next. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So with that being said, I just want to say thank you so much, Bestie, for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer and talking with me. Oh, you're welcome. Talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, My Hero Academia. It was awesome. So before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Oh, well, they can find me as Bestdemiguise on Instagram and TikTok.
Awesome. And where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks. On Twitter and Instagram, you can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again, everybody, for watching a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer. Make sure that you stay safe during this holiday season. Keep that pinky up. Stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.